Sarah Nickerson, today on Ignite News. As spring approaches, it brings coyote season with it. We share some tips on what to do if you encounter one in the wild. Golfers in Hamilton get an early start to the season as courses begin to open with a limited capacity.
I'm Tara Nog, and today we'll look at the rising cost of real estate in Ontario and how first-time homeowners are being left behind. Encountering a coyote on your property or on a hike can be daunting. Proper human behavior helps keep these candidates in the wild. Ignite News reporter Katrina Rathi has the story.
Birds are chirping and flowers are blooming. It's spring, but it's also coyote mating season. From February to March, coyotes can become more active. They use the same paths and trails as humans, leading to encounters. Living in southern Ontario, it's common to come in contact with wildlife. If you have an encounter with a coyote, however, you want to make sure you're taking the right steps to not only protect yourself, but the coyote as well. If you have a dog with you, they should be on a leash at all times. Experts say you can bring a walking stick or a noisemaker as a deterrent. Don't scream, but you can yell, "Go away, coyote!" And remember, if you ever feel threatened, you should call 911. Leaving food out and not discarding of dog feces, birdseed, or fallen berries does more harm than people may realize. Leslie Sampson, director and founder of Coyote Watch Canada, says human food sources are one of the biggest coyote attractants.
That becomes problematic for all the other neighbors in the area because the coyote will come in, access that resource, and other people might not even be aware of that.
Lisa Cooper, supervisor at Animal Services Burlington, says pet owners should be cautious.
We recommend people never letting especially little dogs outside alone, always having them on a leash and going outside with them.
Lori DeGroot, a North Burlington resident, had 2 dogs attacked by coyotes and doesn't let the dogs out in the backyard anymore.
Not anybody is allowed to just open the door and let them run out, even in broad daylight.
Coyotes are intelligent creatures that contribute to a thriving ecosystem. To access more resources about coyotes, visit www.coyotewatchcanada.com or the City of Burlington's website. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Katrina Rathi.
A new stay-at-home order has been issued in Ontario, but that hasn't stopped golf courses from reopening at a limited capacity. Jared Matthews has more on this story.
It has been a long winter for many Ontario golfers who are eager to get back on the course. With the uncertainty of many businesses reopening this year, golf courses like this aren't one of them. This season is likely to be one of the busiest years ever for places like Dragon's Fire Golf Course in Carlisle. Last year, the first 2 months of golf were non-existent because of the lockdown, but this year, they will be ready to follow special protocols. Luke Paddle, superintendent of Dragon's Fire Golf Course, says they are beginning to get the course in playing condition and are going to be open this Friday.
This golf course is always one of the first ones to open. We do have a little bit of snow around, but we'll still be open. The tee sheet is absolutely jammed. We are booked solid. There's even people teeing off after 5 o'clock on Sunday.
The last few weeks has been very busy for the crew cleaning up the course from all the damage of the high winds and large snowfalls. Luke also said that the course is going to be in excellent shape this year due to the substantially smaller number of rounds that were played on it last year. They definitely expect to be extra busy this year because of their ability to run regardless of what restriction zone the area is in. A few minor changes that have been made to suit provincial guidelines include masks being worn in and around the clubhouse, course marshals making sure people are distancing properly, and sanitization of carts between uses. In addition, they have also added a screen in between the seats of the carts and even special flag sticks on the course to eliminate the need for everyone to touch them. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Jarrett Matthews.
The COVID-19 pandemic has created incredible demand for real estate in rural areas in southern Ontario. This is causing home prices to rise drastically, pushing young buyers further away from the housing market. Ali Penders has the story.
Over the last year, the housing market has skyrocketed. In rural communities like the county of Brant, homes are selling well above listing price, leaving potential first-time buyers discouraged. Erin Thompson has been searching for her first home for over a year and is running out of patience.
Incredibly frustrating and kind of heartbreaking. I have been looking and I look at houses that are in my budget and I either bid on them. I've bid on one house and it went for $25,000 over what I put in on my bid.
According to the Brantford Regional Real Estate Association, the sale prices of homes have drastically raised over the past year in the area. In February 2021, the average selling price of a detached home was $767,000, up by over 46% from 2020. While many believe that what goes up must come down, experts are saying not to get your hopes up on an eventual market crash. One of Brant County's top real estate brokers, Adam DeGroot, believes this area is far too valuable to see home prices drop.
I think prices might, plateau. Well, they're going to at some point, but they can't keep jumping like they have been. They're going to plateau, but with the demand we see here, I just don't see there being, definitely not a crash. People keep saying crash, and I strongly don't believe that'll happen.
For young buyers, the best thing to do is just be patient with the market and keep saving. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Allie Penders.
Coming up, students can tune into movie night once a week, courtesy of Mohawk Library Social Inc.
And students are participating in Mohawk's much-missed study jam, back in a virtual format. Mohawk alumni are hosting an 80s-themed trivia night on Thursday, April 15th. The virtual event is free to students, Mohawk graduates, and friends. Winners will receive alumni swag bags in the mail. The event begins at 8 p.m. On Tuesday, April 20th, Mohawk and Humber College are partnering up to bring you What's the Tea?, a conversation about consent. Learn how to navigate consent with experts and your peers. Everyone who attends will get a $5 gift card for Tim Hortons. Mohawk International's Language and Culture Center is hosting an online coffee club on Wednesday, April 21st. The event starts at 5 p.m., and all students are welcome to join the chat. Mohawk's educational advisors are hosting an information session on Tuesday, April 27th. Students applying for next fall can learn about programs and services, financial assistance, prep programs, and how to apply. The session begins at 11 a.m. Mohawk is hosting a virtual trauma-informed yoga session for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Kayla Meredith, founder of the Move to Heal project, will lead the session on Wednesday, April 27th, starting at 12 noon. This has been your Mohawk Minute. For Ignite News, I'm Karen Nickerson.
Ontario's reopening plan has allowed for many businesses and locations to reopen, including the Hamilton's Farmers Market. But how has the pandemic affected business a year later? Ignite News reporter Matthew Mateo has the story.
As the province of Ontario begins to reopen, the indoor farmers market can also begin to serve again. Many vendors have had to pivot in order to continue making money throughout the pandemic. Bakery and coffee shop owner Filoma Servato says she's unable to afford any extra employees.
Well, I don't pay employees. I don't have any. It's just us that my husband and I do it. It's all home baked. It's me I'm the baker, the salesperson, the cleaner, everything. I do it all.
Other vendors have been affected in similar ways.
Flower vendor Shane Ramage says he's had to alter his selection due to the pandemic.
We've cut back, the amount of flowers and plants that we have. And they shorten the hours at the market, right? So.
Ramage says he didn't realize just how important office workers were till they were advised to stay at home.
It's affected last year and into this year big time because all the office people are working from home. Never realized how much our business depended on the office people, right? So.
Despite these setbacks, the Hamilton market still operates Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and are currently looking for new vendors. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Matthew Mateo.
The Niagara region is well known for its agriculture and wine production, but businesses like Ironwood are focusing on how they can relate their brand to people in the community. Jessica Maxwell has the story.
Ironwood Cider has a new face and a new home at Sunnybrook. Niagara's newest cider house is getting ready to crack open its doors. Construction is nearing completion, and owner Richard Liu is excited to share Ironwood's rebrand with the cider community. The new ciders feature art from local Canadian artists who align with Ironwood's mission to promote diversity and inclusivity.
This building was actually built heavily inspired by modern museums. And even though it was inspired to be modern, it was not something that I thought that I was gonna do like a very a collab with all the local artists. It was just not something that was integrated with the branding because the branding wasn't done at that point. When we decided that we're gonna be going to artists and source these artists by working a long-term collaboration with them, everything started to make sense. The building, the way it's designed makes sense. the way we want to focus diversity, inclusivity makes sense.
Community members are looking forward to having a new space to celebrate Ironwood's rebrand. Instagram's Girl with a Cider review, also known as Taz, says she's following along with all the big changes happening at the cider house.
It's amazing to have another cider house to visit once that happens, and I think that a lot of people are excited for it. So many things, rebranding the cider, rebranding everything, and then creating this new space for people to go. I think that's amazing.
Saying goodbye to the Ironwood we know is bittersweet, much like this cider. But the new brand that celebrates diversity and inclusivity is a welcome member of our community. For Ignite News, I'm Jessica Maxwell.
I can't believe it's 2021 and we're still having the same discussion about the better treatment of women in sports.
Cottage rentals are a big part of summer. What happens now that the COVID-19 pandemic is here? Ignite News reporter Megan Daniels has the story.
COVID-19 has affected a lot of businesses over the past year, with cottage rentals being one of them. Companies such as Airbnb and VRBO have had to drastically change their procedures for cottage rentals to cooperate with the new pandemic rules. With COVID-19 restrictions being lifted, cottage rentals in Ontario are already in high demand for this summer. Shannon Brown, a Brantford resident who rents out a cottage every summer with her family, says that being able to rent out a cottage during the summer means a lot to her and her family.
Our family really looks forward to this every year. It's a time to get away, relax, not to worry about work, extracurriculars.
But with the increase in demand for cottage rentals this summer, it's become a hassle for those who have regularly booked cottages over the years.
So this year has been a lot different. So 2021, we go to book the cottage and the prices have gone up incredibly. So we usually pay probably about $900 less. We get a yearly discount for being return visitors, and they weren't going to offer us that this year. They started messaging us back in January, asking if we were going to rent this year because it was filling up quickly. We've been really undecided whether we are going to book, just because who knows what's going on as we're entering this third wave of COVID.
For more information on COVID-19 color zones and where they affect cottage rentals, please visit clrm.ca. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Megan Daniels.
The return of the spring is bringing a long-absent campus event back with it. Ignite News reporter Mac Flett has more.
Looks like Study Jam's back, and it brought some friends with it. Study Jam's absence was felt acutely throughout the student body last year, but this past Saturday, March 20th, finally resumed in the form of a carefully planned online format hosted through Zoom. I caught up with organizer Nicole Redmond to talk about what to keep an eye out for and why an event like this is needed, especially now.
So the point of Study Jam is to have the balance there. We're helping students to get ready. Now we're looking at a lot of final projects as well. So we're helping with the academic side of that. So mini jams are fun, informal, but also informational events that we have going on.
Informational and engaging to be sure, but when asked about particulars to keep an eye out for, one recommendation topped the list.
So our events, we have mindfulness and goat yoga with the MSA, but also we have these mini gym events because it's also about that balance. It's about feeling connected. It's about feeling supported during those stressful times as well.
You can look forward to the next Study Jam later this year in November. And for Ignite News, I'm Mac Flett.
Once a week, Mohawk students can take their learning from the computer into the living room. Mohawk's Library and Student Club Social Inc. are running weekly virtual movie nights for students. Ignite News reporter Kara Nickerson has the story.
Looking for a reason to get your corn popping? Mohawk College's Human Rights and Inclusion organization, Social Inc., is hosting a weekly virtual movie night. Each week's movie is carefully chosen to reflect important social issues and represent a wide variety of voices and perspectives.
We tried to educate, whoever, hopefully students and employees. We do get a lot. We've had a lot of feedback about the films over the last few months. So we try to bring issues forward, especially if they're currently in sort of in society in the news. So
Film is an accessible way to convey complex ideas, and Social Inc.'s movie nights allow you to enrich your mind from the comfort of your couch. The movie nights are put on in partnership with Fennell Campus's Cummings Library. The library's online film resources include the entire Criterion catalog and films from the International Film Board of Canada.
Libraries are generally an ally. We're proud to be an ally for the community and promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we really do have to practice what we preach in making sure that we have content that represents that.
Movie nights alternate every week between Wednesday and Friday screenings, and all videos are accessible through the Mohawk Library's website. From Ignite News, I'm Karen Nickerson.
A light has been shined upon the treatment of women in sports once again after a viral TikTok showed the lack of resources that the NCAA women's basketball teams had compared to the men's teams. With the men having an entire weight room dedicated to them while the women only had a single set of dumbbells, we are once again fighting for a change. If you were to ever look at the comments on posts about women in sports by news outlets such as SportsCenter or ESPN, you'll see multiple men comment about how women's sports don't matter and other misogynist comments towards women, as if one post a week about women in sports really hurts them that badly. Women athletes have worked just as hard throughout their entire lives and deserve the same amount of respect that male athletes get. It's time to put an end to the stigma that sports is strictly just for men and start celebrating the amazing accomplishments that women athletes have made throughout the years.
Springtime means new growth in the garden, and I like to take some time to make sure all the weeds are pulled and my plants have the support that they need to grow.
When the weather gets nice, I like to barbecue.
When it's raining out, I like to read a book inside.
I look forward to spring because it means my family and I get to bring our trailer out to go camping.
For me, spring means a chance to get outside in the open air, soak up some sunshine, maybe go for a bike ride. Most importantly, do some exercise outside for once.
I like to get outside and walk my dog.
When the sun comes out, my cat and I love to play.
My favorite thing about spring is drinking my coffee outside.